If you're a cat owner, you know they can be, well, mysterious. But one thing that's often hiding right in plain sight is their stress. It's a super common issue, but one we as owners often get wrong. So today we're going to dive deep into the science of—
Oh boy, does this scene look familiar? We've all been there. The dreaded carrier comes out, then the car ride, the whole trip to the vet. This experience is so stressful for both the cat and for us that it's actually a huge reason why, out of over 60 million pet cats in the US, less than half of them actually get the routine vet care they need.
But what if it didn't have to be this way? Really? What if you had the tools to actually understand what your cat is feeling and could turn these super high stress moments into something, well, manageable? That's exactly what we're going to break down.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the why behind their stress, looking at their unique biology. Then we'll cover the what to look for, those subtle little warning signs. And finally, we'll get into the how, everything from building a low-stress home to using training to boost confidence and managing those unavoidable tough situations.
All right, so to really tackle the problem of stress, we have to understand where it even comes from. And for cats, it's written right into their DNA.
So here's the deal. At the heart of every house cat, there's this fundamental conflict. On one paw, they're these tiny, incredibly efficient predators, just driven by instinct to hunt and play and explore. But on the other paw, they're also small prey animals, hardwired to be wary and hide from anything that seems like danger. This duality, it's the source of so much of their anxiety. They need to feel safe, but they also desperately need an outlet for those powerful hunting instincts.
So what's the engine driving all this? Scientists have a name for it, the Central Threat Response System, or CTRS. The easiest way to think about it is as your cat's built-in threat alarm. It's a survival tool that's been fine-tuned over millions of years. The problem is, in our safe, modern homes, that alarm can get way too sensitive. It starts going off for things that aren't real threats, like a new piece of furniture or a visitor at the door.
Now, not all stress is bad. A little bit of mild stress, like maybe a quick positive experience in the carrier, can actually help build resilience. The real danger is what experts call toxic stress. That's when that internal threat alarm is just blaring constantly because of stressors that are too strong, too frequent, or last way too long. This isn't just about them feeling bad, it causes real long-term damage to their physical and emotional health.
So the most important thing for us is to know when that alarm is going off. Cats are absolute masters at hiding when they're sick or uncomfortable, but they do give us signs if we learn how to read them.
These are the big red flags. Is your cat, who's usually a social butterfly, suddenly hiding all the time? Have their eating or sleeping habits changed? Not using the litter box is one of the biggest signs we see. But it can also be more subtle, like they stop grooming themselves, or they have no interest in their favorite toy, or maybe they're suddenly fearful. These aren't just bad behaviors. They're your cat's way of screaming that something is wrong.
And this is absolutely critical, that emotional stress can, and very often does, turn into real physical sickness. Vets see this all the time with conditions like idiopathic cystitis. It's a super painful bladder inflammation that has no obvious medical cause. The real culprit? It's often chronic stress. And that stress can also lead to skin problems and stomach issues. Their mental health and their physical health are completely intertwined. There's this really powerful story of a rescue cat named Honey that just illustrates this perfectly. She was in a state of toxic stress. Constantly on edge, aggressive purely out of fear, and totally unable to do normal cat things like play. Her recovery wasn't about fixing her behavior. It was about using a trauma-informed approach that focused on making her feel safe first. It just shows you how deep the effects of stress can really go. Okay, so now that we know the why and the what, let's get to the how. This is the good part. And it all starts with the foundation, your cat's home environment. You can literally become the architect of a low-stress sanctuary for them.
You know what cats love more than anything? Predictability. It calms that inner prey animal because it tells them their world is safe and stable. Get this, one study showed that just changing feeding times could make healthy cats show signs of sickness. So keep feeding and playtime super consistent. Keep the litter box spotlessly clean. And this is so important. Give them safe, cozy hiding spots where they know they will never ever be bothered. Research shows having that option to just hide away helps them cope with stress way faster.
Next, you've got to satisfy that inner predator. Give them tall cat trees so they can climb up high and survey their kingdom from a safe spot. Get them sturdy scratching posts to let them stretch and mark their territory. And this is non-negotiable. You've got to have daily interactive play with a wand toy. Seriously, Just 5 to 10 minutes a day lets them hunt, and it prevents all that frustration that builds up when those powerful instincts have nowhere to go. Food puzzles are another amazing way to get their brain working.
Okay, let's level up. Beyond just managing their environment, we can actually be proactive and build our cat's confidence through training.
Forget everything you've heard about how you can't train a cat. Clicker training is this powerful, science-backed method that works wonders. And it's not about making them do circus tricks. It's about creating a clear communication system that gives them a sense of control, which then helps them regulate that internal threat alarm we talked about. Every single click marks a moment where they did something right, and that builds their confidence, and honestly, it deepens your bond with them.
And getting started is so simple. First, you just charge the clicker. All you do is click and immediately give them an amazing treat. Your cat very quickly learns that the click sound means something good is coming. Then you can capture behaviors. The second your cat happens to sit on their own, you click and treat. The real key here is to keep the session super short, like just a few minutes a day, and always end on a high note. You want them feeling successful and excited for the next time.
But look, sometimes, even with the most perfect home environment in a super confident cat, certain things, like that vet visit, are just too much. For that kind of severe anxiety, we need to look at other tools in the toolbox. The scale of this problem is just massive. Remember those 61 million cats in the US? Their fear of the vet is a major barrier to them getting health care. This is a nationwide animal welfare challenge, and it's why vets are now being so much more proactive about using medication to help.
For years, the go-to medication has been gabapentin, which helps with anxiety. It works pretty well, but the level of sedation can be a little unpredictable. Now, though, there's a newer FDA-approved option called pregabalin. The main things to know are that it's more potent, which means a smaller dose is needed, and it tends to last longer, which can be really helpful.
So here's the bottom line. These pre-visit pharmaceuticals, or PVPs, can be an absolute game changer. They aren't a last resort. They're a compassionate tool that we can use to protect our cat's mental health during a really stressful event. But, and this is a big but, this is a conversation you must have with your veterinarian to create the right plan for your individual cat.
And this quote from a UC Davis study really just sums up the entire philosophy behind everything we've talked about. It's about choice and control. Whether it's the choice to hide in the safe spot, the choice to engage in play, or the choice to participate in a training session, giving your cat a sense of control over their world is the ultimate key to helping them become more resilient.
So what does success look like in the end? Well, it looks like this. It's a cat that's social and active and just relaxed. A cat that's eating and sleeping and grooming normally and using their litter box perfectly. This isn't some fantasy cat. This is the achievable goal when we create a life where our cat feels safe, engaged, and in control.
Which brings us right to our final question for you. Think about everything we just covered. What is one small thing, just one, that you can do today, right now, to give your cat more choice and a little more control over their life? It could be a 5-minute play session, a new cardboard box to hide in, or maybe just respecting their decision to not be petted. That one small change can be the first step to a happier, healthier, and more zen life together.